Welcome to day 10 of 12 food stories of hope and inspiration. And today I am joined by yet another fantastic guest, a special guest from Hungary. We have Nelly. Hello, Nelly.
Hello, Marianne. Thank you for having me here.
Hello. This is fantastic. I'm so glad you're joining us. So, Nelly and I met in my on my only travel abroad in 2020, literally a year ago, January 2020. And Nelly, I'll let her introduce herself in a minute, was the very first food tour guide I met in Budapest on the day of my arrival. So Nelly, would you like to tell us more about you?
Absolutely, I would love to. Thank you for having the opportunity. So my name is Nelly from Nellicious Travels. I'm a Hungarian. Well, I was born and raised in Hungary and Austria, and I'm actually I have my own little company which I created after coming back to Hungary after living for 26 years abroad in 7 countries on 3 continents. And when I came back home, I realized I always love to eat. So I'm absolutely a foodie, and I had my food and travel blog. And since I love to eat, I love to cook, I love to taste, I love to test restaurants. I thought I have to share this passion with people, with similar-minded people. And that's what brought me to the idea to create Nellicious Travels, where I specialized on food tours. And this is how we actually met.
That is how we met. Because I know your company is called Nellicious Travels, but I always call you Nellicious Delicious in my head because Nellicious Delicious, fellow foodie, and that's how we really connected. Not just as you being a wonderful tour guide, food tour guide in particular, but the whole foodiness between us was, which is why we stayed in touch, right? So tell us a little bit about well, your food tours in Budapest and some typical foods and pastries, all that kind of thing. Tell me more.
Okay, well, first of all, you have to know Hungary is one of the oldest countries on the continent with over 1,000 years of history, a very turbulent history, and we had a lot of influences in our history. So we had a lot of occupations, a lot of wars, a lot of we were part of different empires, and all this influenced our food culture as well. So of course, we came from behind the Ural, mountain Ural. We were nomadic kind of tribes that influenced our food culture. Then when we settled down in 896 in Hungary, that of course we found a lot of water and a very good soil here. So we started farming and agriculture. That influenced our food culture. The surrounding Slavic nations influenced our food culture. Our kings always married ladies from different countries, which
don't they just? Yeah, they do. They do that, don't they?
Absolutely, and they brought their spices, their herbs that influenced our food culture. The Turks were here for 150 years. We weren't very happy about them to stay here for that long, but we were very happy what they brought to us. They brought paprika into our food culture, and paprika is one of our main spices.
Love it.
Besides, of course, onion, garlic, cumin, or caraway seed. And then we're part of the Austro-Hungarian monarchy, which influenced our food culture. So we have a very colorful, tasty, rich cuisine. It's not the lightest cuisine, but it is a very delicious cuisine. And we have, of course, if you eat something heavy, which you can when you are in Hungary, we have our natural remedies, what we drink just to digest better. And
Wow.
all this is kind of made, it's a very nice and colorful food or cuisine or mixture of food.
And I actually did I did a very short food tour with you because I just arrived and getting to know whatever. We specifically went to the sweet and the pastries and all that, which I guess comes from that whole Austro-Hungarian history. And there was one particular pastry or pastry type thing, the chimney cake, the cake that's done around. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that one?
Of course, you did the sweet Budapest tour with me.
I did.
So we were just, this is what I say, don't count the calories, count the memories. I mean, if you travel, you should never count your calories.
I love it. You're so much like me. I love it. I'm not that necessarily, haven't got that much of a sweet tooth, but when you travel, I think that is absolutely the perfect statement, Nelly. I love it. Yeah.
You have to try everything. I mean, if you travel, you never know if you're going to get back there or how soon you are going to get back there. So you just try what you think has to be tried. So the chimney cake, what you mentioned, that's actually from Transylvania, which used to be a part of Hungary. Today it's a part of Romania, and this is where the chimney cake culture comes from. And that's a dough. Well, you have to know, because of our history, Hungarian cuisine is extremely dough and meat dominated. Of course, in sweet things we don't eat meat, but dough. And this is a very nice dough, which they roll on a kind of wooden stick, and it's grilled over open charcoal, and that gives it a very nice taste, especially because they roll it into vanilla sugar, which gives it a wonderful scent and the taste as well, because it caramelizes, and it's going to be crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, and we normally eat it warm. And a chimney cake can be this size, can be this size. So sometimes it makes sense to share it if you want to try other things as well. But this is a very popular sweet here in Hungary.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And it's the first time I'd heard of it. I mean, afterwards I read up but yeah. So yeah. Oh my God. I think there's a couple of pictures of it or something on my Instagram I posted, because I was just so taken aback. And I remember it was a really cold, and I put my scarf on for you today because I know how cold it was when I met you in January 2020, and we looked through the window first, where you could see how this was being made, and my video on Instagram, I think, has got all the rain, and you could see it's cold, but it was so amazing to see the skill of people making this. It was one of my, I'll remember that forever, Nelly. You've given me that food memory. The other thing that I've realized, and I didn't know that much about Hungary and Budapest other than the paprika and the goulash and all that kind of thing, is that the tradition of the food markets. The food markets out there are amazing. So could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm an absolute fan of the food markets, especially in Budapest, because they are huge and most of them are from the 19th century. And the idea behind the food markets was that the government wanted the citizens of the capital to get a good food supply. And this is why they built these markets. So everybody who produced something in Hungary, they could just transfer it to the capital, and the capital citizens could get a good food supply. And it's still like that. Okay, except pineapple or citrus fruit. Everything is from Hungary. It's local food and local veggies.
Love it.
Local butchers, local milk products, and of course, all kinds of alcohol. Of course, we are a wine country.
I wasn't going to mention that, but yeah, I'll come back to the wine thing. Yeah.
And so one of my favorite food markets, whenever, you see, I lived abroad for 26 years. And whenever I came back home, it was mainly in the summer, just to go to my lake Balaton. But I always...
Balaton, your lovely lake Balaton, yes.
Favorite lake. And I went to Budapest, and my favorite food market is, which actually almost everybody knows who's been to Budapest or read about Budapest, is the Great Market Hall. And it's just, you can find everything there what is Hungarian. We call it Hungarikus. That means the traditional, typical Hungarian delicacies we produce, we grow, we prepare. And my traditional food tour starts in the Great Market Hall, where I spend at least an hour because there is so much to show,
Yes,
so much to see and experience. I just love it. And people I guide, they enjoy that too.
and I think you guided someone that some of our UK members, English members may well know. You, I think last August, when there was like a window where this could be done despite everything that's going on, you guided someone called Greg Wallace and his team through that market you just mentioned, didn't you?
That's true. That's true. That was August was a kind of a short window when the borders opened up. And this is when Greg's team contacted me and asked me to give them a kind of a walk through the Great Market Hall. And they said the recordings are going to be on Channel 5 sometimes the beginning of 2021, so this year. So I have to contact the producer and ask exactly when they are airing, but it should come out at the beginning of this year.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And other than I explore the Great Market, not in your tour, but myself, and I spent, as you say, many hours there, and it's absolutely fantastic. Even though some people say it's a tourist trap, I absolutely love the market. So other than that, and you did not know this until half an hour ago when I told you, I actually had a date, like through a dating site years ago with Greg Wallace, and he was here in this very kitchen. I took him to one of my local, well, I wouldn't say pub, gastro pub. It was quite a special place. And this was at a time when he now presents here a program called MasterChef and Professional MasterChef. This was just before the first live episode of that. This would have been, I don't know, the November or whatever before it went live in February. And he called himself a greengrocer, which is where he started. So I took him to that favorite local place of mine, and he actually called the chef out to the table after us, and he was like, "Mate, this was awesome. This was really, really, really great." So I was like, "Yeah, winner, chicken dinner." It didn't go anywhere else. We were supposed to meet up with the other guy that presents, and it just didn't. Whatever. But yeah, when you told me that you'd taken Greg Wallace through that market, I was like, "Oh my God, this is Greg Wallace was here."
This is what I wondered. Oh my God!
I know, right? Life takes this train just turns. So going back to you as a foodie, away from Mr. Greg Wallace, where does your love of food come from?
Oh, it started very early, probably in my mom's belly already. But my mom is a great cook, and since we were little, I have a younger sister, and since we were little. On the weekends, we always stood in the kitchen with my mom. So we always cooked with her. First, of course, first you just do little things. Then you kind of start preparing one of the courses. And we always, Hungarian cuisine is like, or my family's, the eating habit is like, we always have a warm lunch and a cold dinner. So we always cooked for lunch. And we normally had 3 courses. And it sounds like a lot.
3 courses for lunch?
Yes. That was our main eating, like the main food.
Your main food of the day. Yeah.
And we always had a soup. So I absolutely love soups. My grandpa always said, the soup opens up your stomach, gives you appetite for the main dish. Then we had a main dish, and then we had either fruit or some dessert. But the difference is to today's eating habits, everything was a lot smaller dishes. So this size of Wiener Schnitzel, and then you are full for a whole week.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can't get through 3 courses, right? At lunchtime, exactly. You'd be in bed for the rest of the afternoon.
Exactly. So it's three smaller dishes, and that's absolutely perfect. And in the evening, we just eat something light.
Yeah. So, as you've lived in so many different countries, I mean, honestly, Abby lived in different countries that we talked yesterday. I've lived in different countries, but you're beating everyone to it. Now then, all the countries in all of the world, what's your favorite food memory? What's the thing that?
That's difficult. That's difficult because I'm the type of a person, whoever I go, wherever I move to, I try to surround myself with things I love and I enjoy.
Yes.
So of course, everything has two sides, and where there is night, there is day. But I try to focus on what I really like. And I just know I lived a very long time in Germany as well. And of course, I missed Hungarian cuisine. So I cooked a lot of Hungarian. My friends were very happy about that. I lived in the US, close to the Mexican border in San Diego. And I love Mexican food, so I cook it quite often as well. On the other hand, I spent quite a bit of time in Asia because I'm a yoga teacher as well. So I went to India, where I love the food, but Thailand, I love Thailand. I did two food cooking courses in Thailand as well, which I love as well. I can't really tell you what.
I'm not gonna. No, I'm not going to ask you to choose because obviously there's too many to choose from. But I think some of those memories when you started cooking with your mum and your grandmother are right in there as well. But so I know. So we're going to have to talk about the pandemic a moment, because obviously I met you when food tours and travels and my foodie travels were still possible. Yeah. I guess on and off they have been, but mostly they haven't. And I think, like me, we suddenly became cooking sisters because you also started offering online cooking experience. Yes. To bring people together over your food, and in particular, I think Hungarian food. Tell us about that.
Right. So the borders closed in the middle of March. And this was for me a turning point because all my tours got canceled. And this is when I thought, okay, I have to go online. So I started with Facebook Live just to do a few easy recipes where people could join in and cook it. And then I put it on my site as well, Nellicious Travels online cooking experiences, which is what you call it, the cook along. It's interactive.
Yeah, it's interactive. It's live in your kitchen. I'm cooking with you. You're cooking with me. I love it.
So people are safe in their own kitchen, but they make a culinary journey. So they do travel into my kitchen. Into my culture, into my culture actually, because my belief is through food you learn a lot about a nation's history, culture, and mentality.
Absolutely.
And what I really enjoy in these cooking experiences is that a lot of times families and friends from different places connect to this cooking event, and they haven't seen each other maybe for a while, but then suddenly 5 households are cooking with me, and we exchange information and talk about. They can ask me everything.
Have a drink and ask a question. Yes, exactly. I know, right?
And at the end, they have a wonderful dish on their table, and they are just happy.
I absolutely. This is exactly what. Well, as you know, this is where we started to connect deeper, because I do the same, obviously, with my cooking experiences, and it is bringing people together that can't be together, but also virtually traveling to a country where you can't be. So joining each other through interacting over food and cooking, which is absolutely delightful, actually, isn't it?
Absolutely, I agree. That's why I love doing it. True.
Exactly. Now, in addition to that, I mean, I think people will know by now that Nellicious Delicious is a lady of many talents. And you've lived anywhere and everywhere. So you've also actually had to supplement your income over the past year with you do language teaching as well, don't you?
I do. I do teach mainly German conversation and also a bit English conversation. Yes. These days, more German though. Yeah. I've been doing it for the past years as well, but of course, and yoga teaching as well. But now through the pandemic, I had to kind of switch and focus more on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like, is it the food thing you hope to get back to mostly though once things become more opened up? Or how do you see where Nellicious is going once it's possible?
It's the food tourist, because as the name said, Nelly, delicious, Nellicious. Yeah. That's my passion. I love it. Of course, I love everything else I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But this is what I started to build up, and it started to run when all this happened. And I would like to have it back. I would like to give people the joy to experience something through a local's eye.
I think that's perfect. And I did when I met you last January, literally nearly a year ago. And I think that's the beauty. But even with your online cooking experiences or cook-alongs or whatever you want to call it, and mine as well, you get to see the world through food from someone that isn't only passionate about it, but a local food or a food that's close to our hearts and that we know the history of and the background and the culture, and it's part of the blood, the foodie blood that runs through our veins, right? That runs throughout us, right? I know, right?
Exactly. And I do have that advantage as well, that since I lived in so many countries and not just visited there for 2 weeks, but I lived there for years, that I know those local food culture as well. So I did have bookings for Vienna as well, because I know Austrian cuisine, and I had bookings from Munich as well, because I know the German cuisine as well. And it's just, the world opens up, and if someone wants to travel with me, I'm happy.
Virtually or in reality?
Virtually or in reality.
Absolutely, Nelly. I think that just sums it up. And the other thing I just want to mention to people watching is that Nelly and I stayed in touch because we met a year ago through our love of food. But one of the reasons why we stayed in touch, other than that beating heart of food and food culture inside us, is that we've also kept helping each other through social media, through supporting each other and encouragement. So if anyone out there would like to support myself or Nelly through liking us, sharing what we do to others, to the wider world, then for us as people right now, to be honest, struggling more than a little bit in the new current normal, I think Nelly and I would be absolutely blowing you kisses for your support, your support of our passions and what we do. So I hope, Nelly, one day, and I know we will meet again.
For sure.
We'll keep meeting virtually. But for now, I just want to thank you so much to be part of my series of the 12 days of food stories of hope and inspiration, because I think you are absolutely hope and inspiration to me and to many people that are listening. So thank you for that. Tomorrow I will be without guest. You'll be having one of my Marianne monologues. Sorry about that, but it'll still be fun. Tune in. I'll be talking about why I do this and why I want to serve and help people through my passion for food, just like Nelly does. So I hope you tune in tomorrow. For now, thank you, Nelly, and I hope to see everyone else tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye. You're very welcome.